let's talk about the funding side of things. So when starting up a business can be expensive. How did you build your first Feast It website?
Yeah, we were. So it was largely built with kind of JPEG mockups. So we had this a version of it which we could show to potential investors and potential suppliers, which to anyone would look like a kind of functioning platform, but actually was just a static JPEGs that you click through. So we had this version of it that you could get an idea of how it would all work. Which was really, really important to getting people on board, because you can tell people about an idea all you want, but actually until they can see it, it often doesn't. It's never quite the same effect. So that was a big part of it, and that enabled us to go and get some investment from there. And that was built by a design agency, who built the platform, and they did some of it off equity in the company. So that was a really big moment for us, was them kind of coming on board, helping us build the platform. They're still really big supporters of us today, on a personal level and professional. So yeah, that was kind of a big part of the early stages for us.
So going out and raising capital straight away is a fantastic way of starting. How, for those out there that are listening that don't know where they would even go to start, how did you contact investors? Where did you go?
A lot of it was complete. I feel like people use the words, the phrase "spray and pray" was probably quite a good one. We hit up God knows how many hundreds, thousands of people on LinkedIn. Was a big one for us. Just and obviously the vast majority of people don't reply, but we didn't really know much better. Just messaging people we had a deck made. We had it. It looked all right in terms of the design. We put that out to people, but it was nearly always not the people who we sent it out to who would potentially be the ones who went on to invest. They would introduce you to someone else, and then you go for a coffee with them, and they'd introduce you to someone else. And it was a lot of it was just keeping on, like, hitting people up constantly, and then kind of asking them to kind of explore their networks. That was, to be honest, the majority of it in the early stages for our first kind of angel round. We met a lot of people through that process as well, who we still know today, and are kind of still really useful in the process, are still really useful to the company now, and are still friends with. So honestly, that was kind of the best route we had. We were pretty young, so we didn't really have like extensive contacts or anything in startups or investment or anything like that. But, obviously anyone that we did vaguely know who was in business or food or events, we would hit up, and they would potentially put you in contact with someone else as well. So I would say it's all about just speaking to as many people as you can, and more so than directly speaking to them, asking if they know anyone within their network who might be interested in investment or might know people who were. And the other thing that I would say really, really worked, and this is, we'd always go to people, we'd never directly ask for investment. We'd always say that we were raising, but we'd always go to them for advice. And I think that really does help, because you're not necessarily going in saying, this is what I want to do. You'd say, well, we really appreciate your input on what we're doing. And, if that maybe leaves them wanting to invest, then that's great.
Fascinating. I think that's absolutely ingenious. So the way like you said, you basically just outreached on a massive scale and then didn't sell straight away. You talked about the product, and then if they were in, they would either in, and, you could talk more, or you could recommend someone that would be. And I think so many, especially people that are looking to start a business, funding, getting funding for a business just seems impossible. And I remember going back to when we started with £1,000, and our journey just took so much longer because we didn't have, we didn't invest in a website straight away, and it took time to scale up and get the money in so that you could do things properly.